Sportsline Podcast here on CHCH. I'm Bubba O'Neil. Well, thank goodness it's Friday. Reasons why? We are just days away from the NFL's conference championship contest. And after last weekend's divisional matchups, who knows what will happen? So as we have for the other two rounds to debate the winners and losers for the postseason, let's bring in the pride of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, number 21, Simoni Lawrence. Where I got to ask you a question, homie.
Yeah.
You just come back from a moose hunting trip, or is this your style, your baffin style?
Sometimes I just love to throw this baffin gear on. You know, I'm from Philadelphia, as everybody knows, so I had to wear a little bit of green today, and nothing better than wear my beautiful baffin suit, you know what I mean? Like, it's so cold outside, I get to just wear this, and I'm warm. I've never felt nothing like this. Baffin's probably like the best stuff, and these shoes right here, holy moly. I'm talking about wow.
Walking advertisement right now. This guy has sold out since his Tiger Cat days.
Look, I got another, no, but listen to this, Bubba, because Baffin's so cool. Yeah. I was like, you know, I played football in Hamilton, legend in Hamilton for a while. They said February 1st is my birthday. Mm-hmm. Everybody in Hamilton gets 21% off of Baffin products. Everybody.
Yeah, I do like those boots. They must be warm.
Come on, man. They're super warm. You know what I mean? It's almost hunting season, too.
This is the coldest week we've seen all winter. Yeah. You know, I was thinking about your number 21 most recently. And, you know, the Tiger Cats have a thing, you know, once a year where they sort of retire a number and put it up at, you know, Tim Hortons Field or whatever it's going to be called right now. I know you don't play for those kind of things, but do you hope your number 21 goes up there?
Man, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. You know what I mean? That'd be like, I'll tell you a funny story, Bubba. I once cried because I didn't get number 21 when I was a kid. You know, somebody had number 21. It took me 2 years. I think I was 11, and that was the first time I got number 21. And ever since then, that's just been my favorite number. And to be able to do something legendary with such an amazing number that means so much to my heart, like, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
For sure. Gardy Henley going up there, some absolutely great names. I mean, one's closer to our era in Hitchcock. And I mean, I think of him all the time. You know, McManus, Flutie. Whoa, these are fabulous players. And to see your 21, I think, would be certainly deserved up there.
Appreciate that, bro.
All right, let's get to the National Football League. And wow, what a division. We said the divisional championship games were going to be unbelievable. Yeah. And they really, really did produce some excitement. We'll start off in the AFC, the Saturday game. Chiefs 23, Texans 14. Your thoughts on that contest?
Oh, I think that the Chiefs was just getting their feet wet. They didn't play great football, but they did just enough. Texans were playing like hard-nosed, fast football. They were playing at a different pace, even on defense. But at the end of the day, the thing I love about the Chiefs is they don't try to do too much. They just do what they do, and they make it work. They're so consistent, you know? And, like, that's what wins in the playoffs, consistency in football teams, and not turning the ball over.
No. And I thought it was impressive, too, after what has been kind of a hard season for Travis Kelce. Well, he had just a wonderful game.
Yeah, let's be honest, though. Travis Kelce just now getting in shape. You know, he had to play to get in shape. Some guys traded the offseason coming in, but he had to play to get in shape. So you kind of see that materializing, him being in better shape for sure.
You know what I didn't like? The Swiftie, I expect when the camera goes up there, there's going to be Taylor Swift and Kelsey's mom. Yeah. But then you added Caitlin Clark.
I went to the University of Minnesota, Bubba. I didn't want to see nobody from Iowa up there. I love you, Taylor Swift. Just keep Taylor Swift on camera. You know what I mean? I know she got to do her cameos and get everybody else paid and pay some stuff, but yo, come on, Taylor.
She's got a lot of friends, apparently.
Yeah, Taylor got friends in high places.
Who don't have a lot of friends? And I don't know where I want to go with this, because it really has been the topic of conversation out of this game. Yeah. And it really had not a lot to do with the actual play and the players. It was the officials. And the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt, and that the quarterback, Mahomes, gets the benefit of the doubt. Not on one occasion, and exactly some guy on, you know, social media actually put together what I thought were 9 legitimate reasons and what I would call missed calls, like offside on a field goal, roughing the passer call where the quarterback never got hit.
Yeah.
Mahomes and his little dancing on. Well, this is going to drive you crazy. His little dance on the sideline before he steps out, and then guys hit him.
I got suspended 2 games for that. You know what I mean, Bubba? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you got to know who you're playing against, and that's nobody's fault but the coach's fault. You know you're going against Patrick Mahomes. You don't make it close because you understand that this is still a business. And say what you want, Patrick Mahomes generates a lot of money for the NFL, so they're going to protect him at all costs. So do not make it close. And you got to understand when you're going into a game against a superstar like Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, the eyes are on you, and it's hard to be an official. Like, they don't get the calls right. Look at the Buffalo game. Buffalo got bailed out on a Hail Mary to Coleman. They called pass interference, you know. So you got to see it. Like it's an imperfect game, a game of mistakes.
And I do feel sorry for officials. You and I personally know some officials in this area that are, have been very successful over the Canadian Football League and NCAA as well too. I find it hard to believe that an official is favoring anyone, but that's what it looks like sometimes.
Yo, I was taught this really early, that remember, everyone is people. So it's like you want to treat people like they're people, because at the end of the day, they're people. You know, they're trying to do their job at the highest level. But if you're like, it's okay, Mr. Official, you know, like you'll get it next time. Like, don't worry about that. I know you got a tough job. They'll kind of like favor to you. But if you over there, oh, what the heck? Why are you not doing that? You know, they're not going to want to throw a flag that's close for somebody that's yelling at them all day. So it's kind of the game within the game too. They said football 98% mental, and these guys not taking heed to it. I'm surprised.
I gave the Texans credit because they kind of said exactly what you said there, is that, you know what, look, we knew that we were playing more than just the Chiefs.
Oh, man.
But it was left to us to go out and win the game.
Yeah.
And they didn't win the game. So lesson learned, I guess.
Yeah, they got to play better. That's at the end of the day, they got to play better.
Saturday night, what? Commanders 45, man. Detroit Lions. Top seed, number 1, home field, humbled 45-31.
That game was so interesting because, if anything, I thought that Lions offense would be able to score at will. So if it was a 45 type of game, I thought Lions would get up to 50. But they just ran out of gas, Bubba. That young kid, Daniels, he a young kid. He got all the energy, and he just putting it all in his team. And, like, I was like, you know, I should have picked the team like I was on the play lot playing football. Because if I was playing football in the middle of the park, I would just, like, if you know how you go to the park, it's like, I got Bubba on my team. I got Tim. Congratulations to Tim. You know what I mean? You know, his time's up here, but congratulations to Tim. But you got Tim on your team. You got Annette on your team. You get to pick who you want. If I'm looking at the Redskins, I would have picked the Redskins to win because they just got a lot of playmakers on that team. And Daniels really just did his thing. And Lions just, you know, got kind of disinterested when they had to compete. It was weird.
And the turnovers. Jared Goff, you can't throw 3 picks.
You can't throw 3 picks against a hot team like that. You can't give a hot offense the ball with momentum. And turnovers are momentum boosts, and that's what happened. 3 interceptions, 3 turnovers. You lose the turnover ratio, you usually going to lose the game.
It was amazing to see that they had, you know, and we always say that the team that is the top seed, like Kansas City, like the Lions, that they want that extra week off.
Yeah.
But it seemed like from the very beginning, the Lions were a little off. But then we've seen them have games where, in fact, we saw Goff. There was a game in the regular season. He threw 5 picks and found a way to beat Houston. I believe that's who it was.
Exactly.
They do that, but it just wasn't going to happen this time.
It didn't.
And, you know, I know Daniels is getting a lot of love, but, boy, that defense played real tough.
Yep,
like every aspect was really, really good.
Everybody's elevating their game, and that's what you're supposed to do in the playoffs. You know, like the whole regular season, you're supposed to get better, ramp and get better. And that's exactly what they're hot as fish grease right now.
7 victories in a row going back to the regular season. I know you were all over this one. It's Saturday at 3 p.m. In Philly. It is a tight one with the snow falling in the second half. Eagles pull out the 28-22 win over what I thought were a very frisky Rams squad.
Oh, the Rams? Going into this game, I kind of knew that the Rams just had too much going against them. First of all, they're a team in California. They play in a dome, like they're not really used to that weather. And the kind of football they were going to have to play was time management, running ground and pound football. And that's the game that Philadelphia, I seen a stat where there was like, Jalen Hurts threw for every time he throws for under 155 yards, the Eagles win. And that's a good stat because that means they have control of the game. And if the ball's finishing with the ball in Saquon Barkley's hand, normally they're going to win those games, Bubba.
Why is he so good? Like, okay, we knew he was good.
Yeah.
I think the Giants for some time knew he was good, but found it okay to let him go. And he's obviously renewed. He's motivated. He's playing on probably a much better team than the Giants. But what makes him so tough?
His offensive line. I look at Saquon like we don't even know how good Barry Sanders was because Barry Sanders didn't have the best offensive line, but he was still just a ridiculously great running back. And I always used to be like, man, if you put Barry Sanders behind Emmitt Smith line in the Cowboys back in the day, you see a different creature. And that's kind of what happening right now. He was in New York playing with who knows who and who knows what. And then you come with a great team and a great offensive line. Now you get to see his direct ability because, football's about making people miss, and he hits the holes fast. He's built like a truck, moves like a truck, went to Penn State, so he's home a little bit. All those people love him, so it's like it's good energy.
At the very end, the Rams did have an opportunity to win the game as they were driving down, got stopped on fourth down. Stafford incomplete to Puka Nacua. A little bit about Stafford, first of all. The guy is just, no matter how old and beat up, he just keeps coming at you.
Yeah.
But is there, tell me about Nacua. Like, he's a guy, the ball is going to him.
He's a pit bull.
And he still catches the ball.
He's a pit bull. He's one of those guys that his opportunity was minimum. It was like he wasn't even supposed to be there. I think he was like a 7th-round draft pick.
Yeah,
got drafted real late in the draft, right? So once those guys get the opportunities, they're not letting go of that opportunity, Bubba. So anytime you get a player like Tua, you got to make sure that dang near pass interference to him, for him not to make plays. He had some drops in the game which I was like, whoa, that's not like him. So, but he's a ball player, and he's somebody that's going to show up every day. I was like, what happened to Cooper Kupp?
It's weird because Cooper Kupp was the man.
He was.
Before Puka showed
That's what I'm saying. Like, normally when you get competition, the great players, it elevates them both. So you got a guy like Kua, he's playing out of his mind. Now Kupp's game's got to raise, and then everybody gets better. But it's kind of like he just took a back seat, which was kind of weird to me as well. And they needed him.
All right. I believe I saw a statistic, and this was the United States.
Yeah.
I believe it was 27 million people were watching. This is like crazy numbers, right, for sports nowadays. That were watching the Tube on Sunday night for what I guess was the primetime game between the Bills and the Ravens in Buffalo. You knew it was going to be cold. Not a lot of snow, but icy cold day. Bills win 27-25. Between you and I, the mobile phone.
Bubba was one of them making my phone go.
Like it was insane. What a contest! Everything that we thought it was going to be, but this was one of the rare ones. I was right.
Hey, Bubba, I'm mad. Don't piss me off, man. Matter of fact, I'm not going to even use that word. Don't piss me off. I'm gonna say, don't Mark Andrews me right now.
Do you know he is still yet to talk to the cameras yet?
He's not being a professional.
Right. He put out a statement yesterday on social media talking about how crushed he was for what he did for his teammates, how he's going to come back. But he did not face the cameras, which I thought was unusual for a guy of his character. But I'm not going to question his character. Boy, he was really, really upset. But I will say this. Had he caught that 2-point conversion, the Bills still had 1 minute and 33 seconds left in their own building. Josh Allen with 2 timeouts, and everyone was talking about, well, the Ravens defense did such a great job on the Bills. I think the Bills wanted to play in this sort of conservative, run the ball. Josh with a lot of side ways throws, didn't really go down the field.
No passing touchdowns.
Yeah, no passing touchdowns, his normal 2 rushing touchdowns, but he wanted to control the clock. Yeah. But I think with 1:33 left and 2 timeouts, I think they were going to drive down the field and kick a winning field goal.
I'm going to get right to your point and answer that, but we can't forgive Andrews for the drop early in the game and the fumble, and they wouldn't even have been in that situation. 5 turnovers, Bubba, and they still had an opportunity to tie the game is unheard of. But to get to your point, man, I'm a reader of body language, Bubba. So when all right, let me tell y'all a little about Simoni. I went to Valley Forge Military Academy. At the time, it was one of the most prestige junior colleges in the world. I graduated top of my class, first lieutenant and stuff, right? Gotcha. So I'm reading body language, right? So they kept panning on to Josh Allen after Lamar scored. And, he was just sitting there like, man, okay. Normally people pop up and get the boys ready like, yo, we're going to have to go win this game. But he was just waiting for that 2-point conversion. It looked like his hands was like this, Bubba.
It was so cold. He was so cold.
No, I just heard him talking about we love this. So I was like, what's going on with Josh? It looked like he hoping that he don't get this. I thought he would want to see him get this so he can go drive down and win. So, but I don't know. I didn't get the body language that Josh, when Mark Andrews dropped the ball, Josh was like, yes, oh my God. I was like, whoa, I thought you wanted this spot. So I don't know, Bubba. I don't know.
Well, okay. Other than the referee conversation with the Kansas City, and obviously the big conversation of the week on all your ESPN, all the chitter chat shows, including this podcast now, right, is the fact that Lamar Jackson now 2-6 in the postseason, I believe. An interception, a fumble. Let's
do it like this, Bubba. Game is a game of mistakes, right? And it's all about who can limit the mistakes. So it's like you go around the team. Who's going to have the opportunity to make the most mistakes on the team is probably the quarterback, because say there's between 60 and 70 plays in the NFL game. He's touching the ball on 70, let's just get 65 times a game, right? So we got to give him at least room for error. So we're going to say, okay, 2 turnovers, that's manageable, and nobody should. But it's the guys that are touching the ball 7 times a game. Like the way elite players grade is plays made and play attempts and plays made. So like you look around the team and you're like, yeah, Lamar threw an interception, but that didn't really matter because it washed out. Yeah, he fumbled the ball, they kicked a field goal, but at the end of the day, that wasn't it. He was still game time. He had his number 1 receiver out on the last drive. He was throwing the ball to who? 2 tight ends and a bunch of receivers on the field, and still drove the ball over 90 yards to get them in position to win the game. So that's what you call an MVP. If you take Lamar Jackson away from the Baltimore Ravens, they might win 2 football games in a year.
But here's my question, though. The Bills, I thought, and you have to agree because you're a defensive player, I thought the Bills did a masterful job and through pretty much the first half against King Henry. He didn't get off. Like, he just didn't. And I think the idea was to allow him to get no more than 100 yards. In the third quarter, with the Ravens down 21-10, and the Bills having the opening possession of that second half, and they really didn't do anything, and they had to punt. And they started running the ball. And they started gashing the Bills a little bit, right? 15 yards, 10 yards, 7, 8, 6, 6, 6. And they went down and scored a touchdown and got this to be a relatively close game. What happened to the Ravens' offense that they did not continue to do that?
They couldn't, because freaking Mark Andrews fumbled the football earlier in the game when they could have been able to use time management and just hand the ball off and pound the rock and then go score and take the lead. But now you're playing from behind, so you have to call the game different, because not only you're going against the Bills, you're going against the clock, so you don't have Henry to just be able to give him the ball, or else you're going to waste the clock because you're 8-point deficit, At the time, they were like a 8-point deficit. So it's tough, It's all about the ebbs and flow of the game and how's the game going. If the Ravens were able to keep the game close and play their style of football, they would have been fine. But they weren't able to continue what they were great at, because the Buffalo was able to get up on a league on them.
Can we get a comment from you about the Bills, what I believe is a very underrated part of their game, and that's their ability. I mean, everyone gives the highlights and the spotlight to Josh, but their ability to run with 3 different running backs.
I love Cook.
Like Cook, Davis, and Johnson. They're very, and they catch the ball out of the backfield very well.
Yeah, Cook is an all-around back. That's the kind of guy that you want on your team. Cook reminds me of a Bell as well. He can run the ball out of he has very great vision. You know, there was times where it was all stuffed up. He cut it backside, made a play. And those are just great players that are also part of the Josh Allen crew, you know, all players that Josh Allen can work with and put his battery in all of their back to make them perform at a high level. But the guys played great. I was surprised. Their defense made plays. You know, like a lot of people just go for the safe tackles. These guys were going to make a play. Like when punching the ball out or just interceptions, scooping and scoring. How many times, even Hamlin, when he came on that blitz, how many times has Lamar Jackson made that outside blitzer make? He made a great play securing the tackle, getting the fumble, Von Miller picking it up, running, you know what I mean? Because that got him 3 points. They got stopped, but it still got them points on the board, and they ended up winning the game by 2 points, you know? So it's inches. It's a game of inches, and Buffalo's just doing a consistent job, not making, like, Josh Allen, no touchdowns throwing the ball, but no turnovers, 2 rushing touchdowns. That's going to win you the football game and weather games like that.
Yeah, it's certainly not pretty, but it tends to be effective.
And football's about winning.
To the conference championships, folks. And, boy, we're going to talk about the Commanders going into Philadelphia. Commanders, as I said, have won 7 in a row. I don't see it stopping. I don't think the Eagles are as good as their record might tell you. I think there's pressure on Philadelphia, and you know that Philly crowd, if things get a little tight, that crowd can get nervous and angry. They're the one crew of fans that will let their team know. They'll boo them right out of the house.
Boo them. That's why I love Philly. Bubba, I'm wearing all green today because I'm supporting the Philadelphia Eagles full force. You know what I mean? So let me give you a little history lesson right now, Bubba. I know I don't got to give you a history lesson, but this is your world. I'm a Philadelphia fan, a Philadelphia kid, you know what I mean? And the last time these guys met was a 1991 playoff game, and the Redskins just beat them up. You know, they won that game. But earlier, 1990, in the regular season, there was this game. This game was called the Body Bag Game. It was this guy named Buddy, right? Coach
Buddy Ryan.
He said
4-6 defense.
Yes. He said, look, these guys are going to get carted off the field, and nobody's going to make it off the field. That game, 9 of the players from Washington got carted off the field. I'm talking about it was a slugfest. And then Redskins were so upset that they won that game in 1991. And what's that? That was 34 years ago, if my math is right. But that game was so influential, and then the Philadelphia fans never got to relive the body bag thing because Redskins kind of washed it out winning that playoff game. So this is a perfect time for Philadelphia fans to tell everybody this is the new body bag game, and we owe Washington one. You know what I mean?
So you're saying Philadelphia can win a physical war against the Commanders?
I'm saying this is a game where they need to be in those players' head, and like we need to go and beat up Washington. Washington looked good. They look good, but the only way to stop good is to beat them up. I think this could turn into something physical, Bubba.
I think there's one concern that's out there too, is that looking back in the history books, only 6 rookie quarterbacks have ever won a conference championship game.
Yeah.
Have gone to
went to the Super Bowl for
and
the first
none of them have ever won.
Yeah.
They're always rookie quarterback. It's never happened. Rookie quarterback has never been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
6 have got to the conference game. I mean, we can go back as far as CFL legend Dieter Brock, who did a lot of handing off to Eric Dickerson with the Rams, and then we could go most recent to Mark Sanchez with the Jets, and they got stopped by who else? Tom Brady, right? So there is going to be concern there. But boy,
if anybody can do it,
anyone could do it.
Yes.
Again, you were a really emotional guy on the sidelines, on the field. What would you have ever thought when you ever looked at a guy like Jalen Daniels, who sits on the sideline? I love it when the camera goes to him, when the game is like tight, and he's just sitting there.
He's in his world. That's because and that's the thing, yo. That's why I said
cool.
He's cool as a fan, and cool guys need to be put under pressure. Like, cool guys are cool because they're cool. Like, you need to do a lot to make them uncomfortable, you know? So it's like body bag type of game. You need to make him feel it like, yo, I really might do something to you, Daniels. You know what I mean? Like, I really might. Like, there's nothing to be comfortable about this game. It's real serious.
So will it come down to, will you see this as more of Washington's defense against Philadelphia's offense and Jalen Hurts, who kind of looks a little wonky with that knee, or the other way around?
I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles team even flows through Jalen Hurts. I feel like the Philadelphia team flows through Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown on these slants and immediate routes to get the passes and catches they need. And I feel like that's who the team flows around. If they can make it so Jalen Hurts does not have to make any mistakes, it's Philadelphia's game. Let him do what he does, but don't make it Jalen Hurts versus Daniels, because Daniels is outplaying Jalen Hurts by a million miles right now. So if it comes like that, that's when Philadelphia will get in. Philadelphia will be in trouble if it's Jalen Hurts versus Daniels, because Daniels is the clear-cut winner in that. But team-wise, I feel like Philadelphia can stop, or not. They're not going to be able to stop Daniels, but if they can put like a lid on him so he's not making big plays, they're making him go the length of the field consistently, then they'll have an opportunity to, I feel like, pretty much win this game. Yeah, they're going to win this game.
Well, let's just hope, if you're a Philly fan, that Jalen Daniels do not have the football in the final minute of a game that's close with a field goal or a touchdown, because that stat of his, and really it's a Commander's stat of them winning 6 games this year with 6 seconds or less in a game. It's just, I don't know if that's ever happened. Like, that's like March Madness college basketball. Yeah, and you just keep hitting bombs at the last second. It's great buzzer beater mania. Yeah. All right, let's go to Kansas City, to Kansas City, the home of Taylor Swift. All right.
I can't believe you're going to do that to Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes and the 2-time winning Super Bowl
I'm showing
champions.
No respect, and that's why you see Bills pick Bills. Okay, I admit it. 4 times the Bills have played the Chiefs in the postseason. They are 0-4. In their last 4 matchups in the regular season, the Bills are 4-0 against the Chiefs, including a win this year, a game that I was at where Josh was unreal. Yeah. And at the end, the Mahomes had an opportunity to drive the ball for a tie. He got picked off, and the Bills win again in the regular season. This is the time. This is the time.
This is the time.
This is the time. This Chiefs team is not what. This is not your father's Chiefs team. And I know this rivalry has gone back. Do you even know? I don't even know if you know this. I went looking back that the Bills could have been in Super Bowl #1. Yeah. The Super Bowl #1 was a matchup between the Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers. Okay. And in that season, the Bills got blown out in Buffalo at Old War Memorial Stadium by the Chiefs. Okay. All right. So this goes way.
This is a rivalry.
This goes way back. Okay. But I'm telling you, it's time for change.
I got a question for you, bro.
All right.
What makes the Buffalo Bills different from last year, in your opinion? Like, what makes it so, like, this is the Bills year, they're going to come in here and beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, one of the toughest stadiums to play in?
Their ability to spread the ball around, I think, is so completely different. And I think even in that playoff loss last year, where I could see Josh trying to force the ball to Diggs. And I think the mentality has changed so much this year. I think the running game is similar. Maybe they added an extra back in Davis now, the rookie, that he's just another weapon. You still got Kincaid and Knox. Coleman, I think, has really grown as a receiver. He's had some injury issues, but I think the difference is confidence. I really believe they're confident, and I think they're not. I think they're not afraid.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. In football, it's not even about being afraid. It's about here we go again. And you got to look at the facts of every single situation. The facts is that the Buffalo Bills are 0-4 going against them. So, and the Kansas City Chiefs have been down before. Looked like they were about to get blown out to the Texans, battled adversity, and still always won. And if you are looking at this game from any perspective, you think it's going to be a close game minimum. And if it's a close game, you got to give the edge to the champions. You can't take away from the champions what nobody's took away from the champions. And that's just me being a football player. Like, if you say this team's the champion, you're not going to get me to go against them unless you show me that they're not the champion anymore. And, like, all these coaches, I was looking at this other thing. I was like, they had Hardball, McDermott from Buffalo, even from the Rams, McVay. All of these guys come from one tree, one person. Yep. That's Andy Reid's, you know what I mean? That's Andy Reid's school of philosophy, you know? So I think that this is going to be more of a little chess match, you know? And this is a chess match that I give advantage to Andy Reid.
And you know what, boy? It's hard to argue against Andy Reid and his amazing success. It's amazing that he was really successful in Philadelphia, couldn't get over the hump, and then came to Kansas City, and his record is just unbelievable. And we have to, give him props for, becoming, I think one of the the fourth coach to ever get to 300 wins. I mean, that's just incredible in a business where you're hired one day and whacked the next, right? Yeah. It's crazy. But his success has been crazy. And I'm sure as they say, he'll have his team ready. I know there's a lot of people talking about the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, Spagnuolo, that he's going to, he's a blitzing kind of guy. Yeah. But I think Josh
is hot right now. Yeah. Even watching Josh last week, what really impressed me about Josh was on third down and him being able to know exactly where he was going with the ball. If you pay attention to Josh Allen, he's a last look quarterback. So that means when he goes to the line, he'll scan the line, and then he'll look. His last look is usually where he's going with the ball, and then he was on fire. His vision on everything was perfect, and that's just to being a student in game and repetition. I feel like they know that. They know that. Like, if I know that, Spagnuolo knows that. You know what I mean? Sure. So it's one of those things where now you're going to see odd things. You're going to have to show zero, and then you're going to drop out linemen and do all kind of stuff on third down, because that's where Josh Allen is like, oh, my gosh, that guy knows exactly where he's going with the ball.
But is that not where Josh Allen's legs will play a major part in this contest?
Exactly. You got to cage him, man. And I think that the team that does that the best are the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. I think Chris Jones is the best football player in the defensive player in the NFL. And I just think he's a tough guy, yo. And this is the kind of game that he normally does his thing.
Mahomes, he has not had a Mahomesian-like year, right? Yeah. Like, he's not even – they released the 5 MVP candidates, and, of course, Allen was on it. Burrow, Goff, Saquon, and Jackson. No Mahomes this year for the first time in some time.
And that's completely okay, because everything that Josh Allen is getting credit for right now is the same thing Mahomes is doing for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's about winning football games at the end of the day. It's just about winning football games. What Josh Allen was able to do last week, no throwing touchdowns, 2 running touchdowns, that's what Mahomes has been, just managing these games and winning football games for his team at a high level. And he's a superstar, so people are going to feed off of him and do things that they normally don't do. I think that Mahomes, this down year, is just like from being great. When you play out of your mind, Bubba, I know a little something about this. When you play out of your mind consistently, above average season looks like a failure, because you're so used to seeing greatness. Like, oh my gosh, Mahomes, oh my gosh.
I don't know what you think about this, but I have a feeling that whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl. I have no reason to believe that the Commanders or the Eagles can keep up with the Chiefs or the Bills. I think they would have to be considered the favorites, either one of those teams from the AFC.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But still, fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Oh, one more thing, Bubba. We've been keeping score right now. Bubba like to tell everybody that his record is 5-5, and I'm sitting at a pretty 7-3. So if Bubba get one more thing wrong, people can't listen to a below 500 team now. So you better hope you get your picks right this week, Bubba.
The best part about it is they're still this week, and when I go 2-0 and we go into the big game tied 7-7,
yes.
Watch out.
I'm taking the NFC because I know you go AFC because I play to win. Don't y'all ever forget.
All right, folks, there's your championship picks. Good luck with you. You know, Bubba's Bets is where you want to be, right? You know what I'm saying? All right.
Hey, look at these boots, y'all. Ask y'all kids if y'all like these boots. Baffin, 21% off February 1st to February 10th. 21% off the Simoni effect. It hit different.
Write the check to me, buddy. That's your Sportsline Podcast for the day. As you've just seen and heard, talking sports is our thing, and we like to predict football games too. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote the Sportsline Podcast, you want to hear from you, please hit that. In fact, smash that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up button as well. You got something to say? We really do appreciate your comments. A reminder, if it's sports news or what's trending now, our podcast network has you covered. For the good people that produce the Sportsline Podcast, thank you so very much, and we'll see you next week.